Hi, welcome back to my decorating series. We're gonna go inside, go back to the 17th floor, and finish with a double guest room. So now that I've kind of got a system down for doing the guest rooms, I do what I did the last two times, which is start with beds and just figure out what beds I haven't used yet and what things I might have a lot of objects to go with it. So I pull out some things that kind of coordinate. I actually really liked the Lady in the Tramp Chase Lounge with the Naboo bed over there on the right, and even the Sleeping Beauty bench. But in the end, I decided to go ahead and go with the Alpine stuff. Now, I wouldn't say I love the entire aesthetic of Alpine, or at least Alpine as depicted in this game, but I do really love all of the hand-painted wood objects and kind of, I wouldn't say I'm a maximalist, but I do like a lot of busy patterns. I know some people really like simplicity and they don't like too much busy stuff, but I am not one of those people. So I like embroidery and details and little flowers on things. It really, is something that I enjoy. It doesn't necessarily mean I have to have it in my personal space, but I do like playing with objects like that. So since I hadn't used that stuff a ton yet, partially because I haven't had it for the majority of the rest of the build in this house, but also because I hadn't really had call to use it since I've gotten it, I decided to go ahead and lean into the whole Alpine thing. Since this is a double room, I did want to make sure I had two beds. It was a toss-up between using a queen-size looking bed or just a single. I went ahead and went with singles because I felt like it would give me a little bit more flexibility, and also because that was what was in the Alpine set. The other thing I was really wanting to do, even though I probably made it a little trickier for myself in doing so, I actually wanted to make this room a rectangle as well. I know that that was going to be a challenge because I wanted to kind of have an individual sleeping area and individual bathroom areas for the two, kind of guests, I guess, that would be sharing the space. So that made spacing a real challenge, especially since I was like, I want to make this a rectangle instead of a square. I don't know what compelled me to do that. I just felt like it might be fun to push my limits and see what I could do with this. So right now I am trying to figure out how I'm going to divide up the rooms, like the bedroom spaces, in addition to the bathroom spaces, and see if I can get away with, kind of making, I don't know, it's almost like five distinct spaces within not the maximum size room. So I'm trying out curtains. I try, of course, beams. I really liked the curtains in a couple configurations, but their footprint is so large that it really does make it challenging to try and use them in this particular build, because I was running out of space swiftly. So now I've decided exactly how much I can get away with trimming out of this space. So now I've just got to put everything back in that I originally had, and a few additional pieces that I come across along the way. And then I can really get to block it out for real. So of course I need all of the, toilet, sink, shower, the beams. I went ahead and went with the square beams, even though I'm pretty sure the round ones were what came with this new furniture. But I still think it works. The wood tone, the painting detail, it's not identical, but I don't mind it. I feel like it goes enough to be, I don't know, satisfying to me. And this is me still trying to figure out if the curtains will work in here. I actually really liked how they looked, kind of blocking off at a corner angle like that. But I eventually do take them out because they do take up quite a bit of room. Oh, I'm trying to make sure I'm getting things evenly divided, and I wasn't exactly sure. So, of course, I use my trusty flooring because that is my go-to. It is a square made of squares, which makes it so much easier to use as a measuring device for me. So now we're getting all the beams lined up. I used the Wanderer's cabinets again. Color-wise, they don't really go with, especially the kind of living room spaces, bedroom spaces, but I do like the fact that they look like they're you know, lots of storage and kind of like that, I don't know, clean guest room feeling as opposed to like something that looks like a personal home space. Like it looks very neat and tidy because, of course, it doesn't have a lot of stuff going on. It's got doors and a couple of baskets sitting in it. So now I'm trying to figure out a chair to go with the vanity. I really like the little ottoman thing. I actually think I put it in the living room space in the end. But those little chairs, I want to say they might be Sleeping Beauty, but they do really, I mean, they look a little bit fancier than the Alpine stuff, but they still go. They still go. And of course I had to use the Alpine rug. I wouldn't say this is my favorite rug, but it's right up there. If I had to pick like 5 rugs, I'd probably use that just because it's a neutral tone. It's nice and big. It looks like it could be soft. So I like that about it. Some of the carpets don't really look soft. They're still nice looking rugs. Oh, I remember. The reason I'm switching out the bath here, and actually I almost went with the little bubbly tub, the living room space was super cramped feeling. And so instead of using showers, I went ahead and used the Beauty and the Beast tubs. And I still think they go. Like the blue and kind of red and gold go well with this set, even though they look a little bit fancier. I also liked the idea of using pieces that I had used in other rooms because even though I don't want the rooms to be identical, I still don't mind having them share features because I think that would be fairly common in a hotel type space. So like maybe they bought three of the same tub, you know, and got a deal or something, you know, that kind of thing. That would be fairly typical for a business to do. So, oh, I've got a minor complaint. So the beam that goes across the ceiling with this set of rustic beams is not called beam. So when you search for beam, you get all of the beams for this set and the round set. But the one that goes across the ceiling for the square set is called a rafter. So you have to search for it separately. I actually found it by using the word rustic. But it was really frustrating because I was like, man, it would be really great if I had this piece. Man, it would be really great if I had this piece. And then I was like, maybe that it does exist and I forgot about it. And sure enough. So it allowed me to kind of mess around with like a different doorway space for the bathroom because I was challenged after having to shrink the bathrooms. I didn't want them too small because I didn't want it to feel like they couldn't go in, like a person couldn't go in there. But I wanted it to feel a little more open and a little different than how I've done before. So now I'm figuring out the walls. I went ahead and went with this green leafy wall. First of all, I love it. And second of all, I really like the fact that Boo's door, the purple's kind of tied in with some of the purple in the embroidery in the Alpine set, but it's got detailed painting. You know, all the Alpine stuff does. The screens from Frozen have detailed painting. And so I felt like the wall fit, even though it feels really busy. Again, it doesn't bother me. I like that kind of thing, but I don't get to use this wall as much as I probably would like to. So I'm glad I got an excuse to use it in here. Again, it kind of makes the walls feel full without adding a ton of art. Oh, and this was a last minute kind of idea, and I'm so glad I tested it out. First of all, it seems like they fixed these pillar things. It seems like you can actually remove them now. It used to be when you put them down, you couldn't. So I'm pretty sure I could remove them after putting them down, which is great. But I really like that it looks like they're built into the beams. It makes it feel like more intentional as a wall, or more like it actually is a wall. I don't know how to describe that, but I really liked the fact that the wood tones went really well together. Again, it's got kind of that vine detail that fits in with the Alpine and other detailed stuff. And I was just so pleased. And they clip into those beams. So use that information as you will. I also went with the Naboo windows. The color tones aren't quite right. They're a little bit more luxurious, like the curtains kind of feel a little bit too fancy, but I really love the leafy look of it, and I wanted to lean into all of that, you know, kind of floral and leafy garden-y kind of feel in this room. I did go a little bit more over the top than I did in the other guest rooms, but I just was having a good time putting this stuff together. Oh, and these things, I love these little vine bell light flower things, and they also clip into those pillars. So use that information as you will. Oh, I decided the wagon wheel light was a little too intense. So I decided to go ahead and try out these beehive lights. You know, it's a little gardeny, right? All right, well, let's go inside and check it out. So we're wrapping up the 17th floor this week, and I'm really excited about how these last few floors are going. I know I've said it before because I just have been doing kind of home spaces for so long in this series that it's exciting to play in a different way, and it's just a good time. I mean, it's kind of nice to work with entire themes. It's nice, again, to see how those themes can marry with objects outside of their own themes. Like all of this alpine stuff, you know, the colors may not be exactly perfect for, you know, matching them together, but the frozen screens, the Naboo windows, the Beauty and the Beast elements, like that ties into the rest of the rooms and the rest of the hotel type spaces, but it also feels unique and of its own. And I'm really impressed with how much space I was able to fit in here, especially since I made the room smaller than what the maximum would have been. I got 5 distinct spaces in this room. Now, granted, 2 of them are identical because, you know, you have the same bed and the same bathroom, but I like the fact that I was able to figure out a way to make it feel like not everything was super squished. Like, it feels like you and a friend could go rent this room and it would be just a lovely space to have. Now, there's no entertainment in here. You know, we didn't put a TV. I did put a coffee cart and some seating, but that's what the amenities are for. There is kind of some other spaces that, you know, you could get out of your room to do. And if you were traveling with a friend, you might want to just have a room to relax in, but while you go out on the town or have other adventures that aren't inside this room. So I didn't mind not including that, and I'm just so pleased that these all kind of turned out differently, but still feel kind of similar in a lot of ways, and I'm excited to do... There's only 3 more floors. That's crazy. I'm so excited to get to them, so we'll see you next time. That's it for today's decorating adventure. If you liked this video, a thumbs up is a great way to let me know, and a subscription will keep you up to date on my latest shenanigans. If you want to hang out with me live, I stream on YouTube and Twitch on Thursday evenings and middays on Sunday. I hope you have a lovely day, night, time, wherever you are, whenever you are, and I'll see you next time.